Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Humboldt State JackCast presented by Humboldt State Athletics. In this new podcast, we give you, the fans, an insider look at your favorite Lumberjack teams by interviewing coaches and athletes. I'm your host, HSU Media Assistant and Humboldt State student athlete, Elliot Portillo. Now, my first guest on the pod is head men's and women's cross country coach Jamey Harris, who enters his 4th season at the helm for the Lumberjacks. Since he's been here, he's seen significant improvement on both the men's and women's sides, with individual qualifiers for both the men and women to the national championships. And just this past season, his men's squad enjoyed its highest finish at the regional level since 2015. We talk a little bit about the challenges of practicing during a COVID fall, what we can expect for a potential spring CCAA cross-country season, and just who we can expect to shine, both returning and coming in new to his rejuvenated Lumberjack programs. In conjunction with the NCAA Division II's Diversity and Inclusion Week, we also take a deep dive into a little bit of his work as a social activist and as a member of the CCAA's brand new Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, we're recording, we're here. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'm Elliot Portillo, and I'm here with HSU head men's cross country coach Jamey Harris. Jamey, thank you so much for taking some time to come onto the pod.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
So I'm just going to jump right into it. One of the first things I want to kind of talk about a little bit is just kind of the crop of talent you have coming in. You guys were pretty aggressive over the offseason in terms of recruiting on both the men's and women's side. And it's shown each year you guys have gotten a little bit more and more talent. And that's shown in the finishes you've had each year. So just kind of talk a little bit about how your recruiting process has changed since you've been here, and just kind of about, overall the trajectory of the program.
I think you characterized it accurately. I've been pretty aggressive in, going out and just kind of getting the word out that, about what we're trying to do here and the program that we're trying to build, and going for, some big recruiting classes as far as numbers. And each year, I think the quality's improved as well. And this year, recruiting for next fall is interesting and challenging, but certainly the group of the talent that we have on campus now is pretty impressive, and I think we're well stocked for the next few years. That doesn't mean we're stopping. We're going to keep going. It's just it's a challenging year with few competitions and limits to what people can do as far as traveling and visiting and things like that. Pearl Burton has been really impressive. She's transferred from Cal Poly Pomona. And it's been difficult to tell. Some people haven't been practicing, but there's another transfer, Annika Berrigan. She's originally from Folsom, but started at Hawaii Hilo. And then her sister Maya, who's a freshman. Both of them very talented and training together. And I think them being on campus together, they're going to be very supportive and inspiring of each other. Certainly Kayla Penny, who actually was a Jacoby Creek Elementary School student and a little bit of a star in the cross country, the youth running program, the Hooray program years ago. Moved to Santa Cruz and finished high school there, and now she's back here as a Lumberjack. And then Sol Fernandez and Annabelle Ojeda, those two have had good success earlier in their high school season. Had some little bumps in the road toward the end. COVID wiping out their senior year of track being one of those little bumps in the road. And they have been on a roll and making good progress with getting back to where they were and then beyond. On the men's side, Carson Smith has looked really good, and Julian Jensen, those two freshmen have looked really good. Adam Harder's putting in good miles. And then we have sophomore transfer from Cal Baptist in Iris Valerio. Very, very talented, great speed, great endurance. Not even sure what event will eventually be his best, but he's got tremendous range and he's got some very lofty goals. So we're excited to see what he's going to do and how quickly we can get him to achieve those. Ricardo Torres, who joins his former high school teammates from Channel Islands. He's transferred up here from Oxnard. Colin McMillan, who's transferred from Notre Dame did a Muir when they cut their athletic department. They've all been looking very good. And Jeffrey Phelps has been impressive. He's from San Bernardino Valley College, I believe. he's been impressive. He's made good progress, had a really good summer, put in some good work. So it's big, deep recruiting classes. Last year, the women's recruiting class got ranked number 4 in the nation. I think the men's recruiting class this year arguably is better especially if you look at the transfers. We're excited. We've got a couple of mid-year transfers already committed to showing up in January, and we're not done.
You want to highlight a few returners on both sides that you think are going to be big impacts this year?
On the men's side, certainly Shane Burton, and you may recognize the last name because Pearl, who transferred in this year, is his twin sister, actually. Shane has looked really good. Micah Chicharoff, we call him Chit. He's been steady as always. Michael Django's been really, really good. Continues to improve, especially on the cross-country side of things. He came in kind of as more of an 800 specialist, but we've convinced him, I think, partly perhaps by watching the success of his teammate Daniel Tull, that there's some talent on the long distance side of things. And Michael Mills has made really good progress. And we're excited to see what Elliot Portillo does when we get him out here full bore. Let me glance at the ladies. Rosa Granados has really stood out as just one spot away from being all conference in the cross country last year, but she has never had an off season the way that she did this last summer. She came in far more fit than she ever has at the beginning of a season. So that new level of dedication and commitment is really going to pay off here over the next couple of years.
Excellent. And so building off that question a little bit as well, this has been the oddest October you've probably ever been in.
Oh,
is that correct?
Yeah. From a coaching standpoint, definitely. Yeah. It's weird and wild, definitely.
What kind of training guidelines or what kind of just, practices have you put in place that have kind of to keep people sparse and ready for hopefully a couple races in January and February?
I've had to be super flexible, obviously. And I always like to kind of individualize people's workouts and training, but still get them to, working out together. So, just taking that to another level, because in addition to the fact that different people are on different fitness levels and have different training backgrounds and strengths and weaknesses, but also they're just in totally different mental and emotional states, and therefore totally different stages in their training, where normally we would kind of have everybody in the same stage of training and preparing for, our championship season at the end of the year. Some people are, have just kind of taken another break and restarted, but some people have just stayed focused and, kept their ear to the grindstone, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
they've continued to get the work done. And so some people are strong and fit and ready to roll. And so we're giving some people more of just sort of a very basic base build up with a sprinkling of some faster stuff to just develop some mechanics and things like that. We're giving other people not really race sharpening workouts, but something to kind of touch on race pace a little bit and kind of break up the monotony of months and months of base training. We're not trying to get, super sharp for races right now, but we are trying to touch on some things and have some fun. We may put in some race efforts here over the next few weeks without expectations of running super fast times. But I think in the spring, if we can do inter squad meets, even I think we can run some good times. But obviously, we're hoping to be able to compete against other schools as well. I think that first race is going to be really hard to keep people under control in that first mile. I think just I think the nerves are going to be super high. You're going to see some people losing it a little bit. I think, having been so long since they race, I think some people are going to be super nervous, and some are just going to be super excited and ready to go. And that gun is going to go off, and they're going to be like quarter horses out of the gate. So there may be a rude awakening as they get to the second half of the race and realize that they may have spent a little bit more energy early than they wanted to, but I think they'll relish the opportunity to grind through that.
Over a few months ago, you were appointed as HSU's representative to the CCAA Inclusivity and Diversity Committee. Do you just want to kind of go into detail on that a little bit and kind of just outline what those responsibilities entail?
We've met twice now, and we're just still kind of getting that group going, and we're making plans for a couple of movements. One of the things that we recommended was we were supportive of the decision to eliminate all competition and practice on election days, so that student athletes have plenty of time to get to the polls. Because we know that student athletes have very, very busy schedules already as it is just as students. And so to give them a break from practice or competition on those days should be a little bit of a help to make sure that they can take part in the electoral process. We've also got some other ideas that we're working on. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder by throwing those out there prematurely. But what we're hoping to do is really affect some change and affect some action, both on everyone's campus and throughout the CCAA conference, to have a positive influence and support and expand diversity within not just the student athletes, but also within coaching and administration in athletics. So, at the same time, there's been an on-campus student equity and equality group that I'm also a member of that's gotten started, and also a Black student athletes campus organization that's also started this summer and fall. So we're excited about where we're going with all sorts of issues around diversity throughout the conference, but we're really primarily focused on what's happening here in our home and in our community, because there's obviously a lot of work to be done, but we want to start with our own house first, and then spread it out throughout the region and the nation.
Excellent, well said. Before we kind of log off, is there anything else you want to add?
I know the student athletes were really missing practicing and things like that, but trust me, the coaches, you guys at least have school in addition, your students and athletes, we're just coaches, and it's such a big part of not just our job, but just our life. And so to get back to actually working in person with student athletes was amazing. The first day that we had practice, I had 5 practices that day, I think. And I was exhausted at the end of it, but I was giddy to have been able to just get out there and share some knowledge and share some enthusiasm and tell some really corny jokes and do all the things that coaches like to do.
Awesome. Well, again, Jamey, thank you so much for taking some time and joining me and talking to me. And let me know how everything's going. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we should be out there running again soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, Elliot. See you soon.
Go Jacks.